Welcome to the Allen Americans podcast. Tommy Daniels here, and very pleased to have along with me today, coming to you from the Allen Americans locker room, is our new president and alternate governor, Mr. Mike Waddell. Welcome to Texas.
Hey, it's great to be with you, Tommy, and an exciting title. I've never been an alternate governor before, so it sounds really official. My mother-in-law said that it makes me command more respect.
It definitely should. And anytime I hear the word governor, it's not just an average Joe. You are somebody of importance, and it's nice to have you here on the podcast today. Let's talk about, first of all, trying to do what you're doing now, which is be the president of a hockey team, and you're still in Florida. Obviously, have not been able to leave yet for a few reasons. But how stressful is that daily?
You know, it's not been, because I have a great organization that I'm able to join. If we were at the bottom of the Western Conference, or not a playoff contender, or not the prohibited favorite to be in the Kelly Cup Finals, I'd worry. But Allen's a great location. It's the top market potentially in all of the ECHL. And you add into it what Marty does on the ice with our outstanding players, and two out of the two members of the all ECHL first team were Allen Americans.
Yeah.
So that gives me a lot of excitement, and everybody I've met so far has been awesome. So we're doing it by Zoom calls, we're doing it by phone calls, we're doing it by email and Basecamp, and every bit of technology that you would hope that we'd be using, and trying to do the best we can as we get ready for this 2021 season.
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you this about your background. And I know it's in the broadcasting world. That's where you started. But like a smart man, he got away from the broadcasting world and is moved on to now a management role. But talk about your career. I know you've been everywhere. You've been involved in NASCAR. You've been involved in football. You've been involved in hockey. And obviously college is a lot of your background. Just tell our fans about your route, actually, to how you got here now.
Well, it's been a wild run, and it actually started professionally after I graduated. Well, while I was still a college student, my last year in college, I didn't play football. I played my first 2 years, but I knew I wanted to graduate early, and I had to do an internship. So I joined what was then the reigning ECHL champion Greensboro, North Carolina Monarchs.
Wow.
Under Hall of Famer Bill Coffey, who is a Hall of Famer as an owner. And we had Nick Batusi, the former Toledo Walleye head coach, was our goalkeeper and goalie. And then we had the forwards, and Daryl Noren and Phil Berger. So it's funny that off my first ever professional experience, I have 4 ECHL Hall of Famers. And Pat Kelly, who the cup is named after, actually gave me a job offer at the end of that internship, or full-time internship as it turned out. But I ended up going the route that you enjoy so much right now, and that's as a broadcaster. First at the Tar Heel Sports Network at the University of North Carolina. I was part of 5 national championships there in 3 years. Then on to the University of Virginia, where I was part of another national championship with MLS legend and U.S. national team former head coach Bruce Arena on men's soccer. On to Appalachian State, West Point, and then Akron. Then the broadcasting stopped, and I went on to an administrative career. Started at Akron with admin, but really the University of Cincinnati, Towson University, where I was Division I Director of Athletics. Also at the University of Arkansas, not too far from Allen. And finally in the Big Ten with the University of Illinois. I did work with the same guy 4 times at Virginia, Akron, Cincinnati, and Illinois. So in sports, you tend to hitch yourself to a wagon at some point. Sometimes they hitch themselves to my wagon. I've had a few 3- and 4-time employees, but I worked with the same AD at 4 different schools. And he was dismissed in 2016, so I had a chance to sit around and say, do I want to stay in college athletics that I've done for 28 years? Or do I want to try something different? And the opportunity came to join NASCAR as a vice president at Richmond Raceway in Virginia, short track, America's premier short track. Had a lot of fun there. But after 2 years, I was ready to get back into team sports. And that's where it gets interesting, because I joined a upstart football league called the Alliance of American Football.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. I was the team president of the Orlando Apollos, who was the #1 team in the AAF, with a great head coach in Steve Spurrier, who's two-time inductee into the College Football Hall of Fame, 1966 Heisman Trophy winner, national champion in 1995 with Florida. And the general manager of our team was a guy named Tim Ruskell, who was a former president and GM with the Seattle Seahawks. So I worked with great people, but that league died. And then I worked with my own company for about 9 months, and then had a chance to come here and join the Allen Americans. And I'm pretty excited about that. And to be with you and the rest of our leadership team, and especially our on-ice product and the great fans of Allen. It's a lot of fun, and I'm sure I'll be able to, bully you into letting me come on the air every now and then and get this broadcaster itch scratched. But right now, I'm just excited about trying to bring a personal, significant, and unexpected experience, unexpected on the positive side, to our fans there in North Texas.
And everybody that has been a part of this organization over the years, whether you're in ticket sales or sponsorship sales, they bring their own spin. And what do you think is your MO? What are people going to like about you immediately? Give us just kind of the good things, the things that we'll know about Mike Waddell here in the first year with the Allen Americans.
Well, I would like to think that I'm going to be very accessible. I give out my cell phone and my business card. You can call me 24/7. And I'm still friends with members of our fan council from Richmond Raceway. But then again, I'm friends with corporate partners that I had going back to the University of Virginia 26 years ago. And it's a relationship business, and you have to love people and love the fans. I'm the type of guy that's going to be high-fiving people as they walk into the building. Probably sit down and eat some of your popcorn when we're watching the Americans beat up on Wichita. And that will come up October 21st for the first time. We get to beat up on them this year. And, I'm going to come up with ideas and really try to bring the best out of our incredible staff that we have and listen to our incredible fans. And if you do that, what I mentioned a second ago, Tommy, personal, significant, and unexpected. I got this from a great Texan, Matt McElvain, Mattress Mac down in Houston. And he says, if you give people a personal experience, you give them a significant value, and you transcend that all to an unexpected experience on the positive side, you have a fan for life, and you have relationships for life. And that works whether we're talking about our season ticket members with the Americans, whether we're talking about our corporate partners, or we're just talking about general relationships that we have in everyday life. And I think that's a good MO to work on. And of course, it would come from a Texan. And that was about 20 years ago. I heard Max speak, and he's a big Astros fan, bet a lot on the Astros. I don't know if he knew about some of the sign stealing going on, but he's an inspiration to me, and look forward to bringing that mentality in part along with the other smart people down in Allen.
You come from a very athletic family. Your wife, tennis, big time into tennis, right?
She was a two-sport athlete where we went to school at Division III Guilford College. And we like to say that between ML Carr, World Be Free, and me, there were two folks that had great NBA careers. I was a Division III football player, but my wife played basketball and tennis. And for the last 30 years, she's been a United States Tennis Association elite pro, and right now works here in Orlando at the USTA's Home of American Tennis, their national campus. So she's winding that down. We'll be moving to North Texas. Our son, Drew, is 22, and he graduated a year early. Like his dad, he graduated a year early from college, where he was the head basketball manager all 3 years he was in college at Murray State. One of his suite mates at Murray State is a guy who's probably going to be the NBA Rookie of the Year, and John Morant. He got back-to-back Missouri or Ohio Valley Conference championship rings, and then took his talents to the Big Easy, where he was down in New Orleans for the last year working for the Saints and Pelicans. And just the very week that I got the offer to join the Americans, he was moving into his new digs as he's a ticket sales and fundraiser guy for Clemson athletics. So he's in the ACC. And then my daughter is a junior at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. So we'll have fun with Robert Ciccatelli who is on our staff with the Americans, he has the misguided impression that South Carolina is Carolina. But we, of course, know that North Carolina is the only true Carolina and probably should absorb by annexation the lesser Carolina, which is the Gamecocks.
I can't wait till the first day you wear a Clemson polo in the office. That should be an interesting conversation.
Go Tigers. And it's funny because my broadcast career started in the ACC the first 6 years, and I grew up in the ACC country, I know a lot of people at Clemson. So one of my old roommates when I was a broadcaster at North Carolina is now the director of football video for Dabo Swinney, Rick Bagby. And their athletics director, Dan Radakovich, is a good friend. Graham Neff, their deputy AD, and Davis Babb, who runs the fundraiser. So and their radio guy, Don Munson. Ironically, this is my tie to the Dallas-Fort Worth area because I'm a former voice of the Mountaineers at Appalachian State, the same as Big Red, Brian Estridge, who's now the voice of the TCU Horned Frogs. And the guy who was the voice before Brian, Don Munson, is now the voice of the Clemson Tigers.
Wow.
So we all it's a funny world, this sports gig, but man, I tell you, you got the best job because you get to hang out with Marty and Tyler and all these guys, and you've got all these championship rings. You got to make sure you get another Kelly Cup ring coming up here in 2021.
Well, it's been a great run for me. If somebody would have told me when I left the radio business 11 years ago, and I didn't know how long I'd be doing this, and getting ready to start my 12th year, and the only guy who's left really full-time staff anyway from day one. So I've definitely enjoyed it and been really lucky to be a part of some great teams. All right, Mike Waddell joining us here. Couple more things now coming in. I know you're a goals guy. What is your goal that you've set for yourself? Maybe not for our staff, but for yourself coming in for year one.
To put our fans at the center of everything we do. Some things, Tommy, as you know, and Marty will tell you the same thing, some things are out of our control at the team level. And we don't get a chance to make our schedule. But when the schedule is made, we go out and we attack it, and we try to put a great product out on the ice. We know that's going to happen with Marty. I mean, the second all-time winningest coach in professional hockey history, trailing only Bowman by, I think it's 201 games. So if we can get Marty to hang around for, we play 72 regular season games a year. At this rate, we've got about 4 or 5 more years before he eclipses Bowman as the all-time winningest professional hockey coach. So that's a goal.
Well,
but it's to put our fans at the center of what we do, and to be active in the community and care about others as much as we want them to care about us, because that has to happen first. And could not be more excited to be at least I guess an adopted Texan. I hope they'll be adopting of my family and me, and to get down there and have fun. I want our games to be fun. It sounds like they are. I've talked to a lot of fans already. I've talked to a lot of members of the media and business folks in the Allen area. I'm already a member of the Allen Noontime Rotary Club.
There you
go. I'm doing it by Zoom. Right now, but everybody's been great, and I just want to be a part of that thing. It's not really what I want to do. It's how I want to be a part of what's already there, and maybe together we make some tweaks and ramp it up and give people a better personal, significant, and unexpected experience.
The question I get daily from fans that email me or talk to on social media, how do you think this is going to work this year with fans trying to come back to be a part of a sporting event? Do you think we're going to be at limited where you might only be at 30%? Do you think we'll get back to 100%? I know you can't predict that right now, but what's your gut telling you?
My gut tells me that we're Texans. And Texans get out and they get after it, and we're going to get back to normal probably sooner than the other 49 states. And that's just because, we're Texas. And, you control what you can control. I can't tell you what the other 25 markets in the ECHL are going to be like, when they're going to be able to go back to normal, when they're going to be able to do things. I know that we have great partners in the city of Allen with the Allen Event Center. It just has a great reputation around the league, and I've enjoyed getting to know Bill Herman and Mike Martin and the folks over there that we deal with. And we're talking about things right now, and we're making contingency plans. That's what you have to do. To be an achiever, you have to be able to plan. And I don't want to be surprised by anything, but Tommy, at the same time, there's some things you just can't plan for. So as long as you have a solid strategic base, the tactics will follow suit. And I'm very hopeful for this. I mean, our season starts at 7:05 Central Daylight Time, or Central Standard Time, I guess, on October the 16th. And we're going to be there. Good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. Everybody else is going to be there too. And everybody that comes is going to have a great experience. But we're going to make sure that people are safe. We're going to make sure that it's a engaging environment. And one of the things I think we will do this year is we're going to use a lot of different types of technology to create an environment that's engaging, not only in the Allen Event Center, but also when you're at home, through AllenAmericans.com, our website, through our social media channels, and through the great content that you and your team are putting out. I mean, we've gone over the 5 million view mark on YouTube all time. Now, that goes back to the 2010 season, 12 years ago when we were first opening up, 2009-10. But little do you know that over the last 30 days, we're closing in on 500,000 page views. So during this pandemic, kudos to you for doing a great job in interviewing people, talking to our myriad of award winners, from Marty being GM of the Year to Alex and Tyler with their awards that they've gotten in the postseason. Really pushing things forward. Spencer, the one player that I've talked to so far on the phone. I mean, just providing content. People want to feel that relationship with the Americans, I hope, 52 weeks a year and 365 days a year. We want to be able to engage them with that content. And you do a magnificent job. We're very fortunate to have you as our lead Americans ambassador, and look forward to working with you here in the years to come.
Well, Mike, thank you very much for doing this. And again, fans, Mike will be joining us here in Allen very, very soon. I know you're still on the search for a house, so good luck in that. I mean, that's not easy this time. We're dealing with the pandemic, but we look forward to seeing you here very soon in Allen, Texas.
Well, I appreciate that. And I do want to get this in too, that I'm not the only new guy that's joining the staff. We have 2 other employees that we've added to our sales staff. And I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to our owner, Jack D. Galati, because in this time where businesses are uncertain nationwide, the Allen Americans have been focused on growth. We are preparing to people up. We are staffing up big time for this 2021 season. We're going to give it 100% all the way through. And by having that commitment to our staff right now, we don't have layoffs. We don't have furloughs. We are growing. We're about to add a new director of finance, a couple of people perhaps in the ticketing and corporate sponsorship areas as well. So I think, if anything, I want to leave the fans today on this edition of your show by just saying we're in growth mode. The Allen Americans are in growth mode. And if there's one thing that I want, and I know you want too, I'm a ring guy. And this year we missed out on getting a Kelly Cup championship, because we would have won it. I have no doubt in my mind. We had the best players. We had the best coach. We had the best GM. We had the best staff. We had the best fans. So now we have a redemption mission coming up, and I can't wear enough red these days. I'm ready to rock that red. Thank you, Tommy, for all you do, and I look forward to seeing the fans down the line.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike. And, of course, thank you to our great friends here at Frito Nation Productions, Mark Friedman and his great staff, always doing an amazing job taking care of us. And if you are in the need of a podcast, this is the guy. He's a Dallas-Fort Worth radio legend. And give Mark a call or email him, mark@fritonations.com, and get your podcast set up. Thank you, Mark, and thank you for joining us here today.